If you're also going to work on getting Borg characters to medical personnel, you know, I was also thinking there aren't a lot of MASH characters available. There are a few. They're very expensive. With the right changes, these could be the MASH people. Hawkeye Pierce. But anyway, when you're starting with the Borg, and I don't know how long mine's gonna remain a Borg. I might do it a little at a time as I work things through about surgery and stuff. One thing you might want to buy is Crayola Air Dry Clay. So right now I've looked at the different Playmates or different brands. There's a UB01 diorama set that looks wonderful for the actual Borg or any of the Star Trek things. But I don't want to invest a lot of money in this if they're going to end up medical. So, simple air dry clay. This can be painted to be a Borg cube. This could be the Queen's sphere painted. But the other thing is, these, when you're under anesthesia, these are the shapes you see, are very simple shapes. Now, if you have like oral surgery or even in my artery surgery, they have you get on a gurney, but then they often pump the gurney up higher so that the doctor doesn't have to reach over, bend over. This air dry clay, it doesn't fit this one as well as the other one, is a Borg stand. I looked at a second red official Borg stand, and it was like $15 because sets get broken up, but still, this, I think this was $7, and you can make a lot of this stuff. This fits the clamp on the Borg hand, and it's more like a hypo spray. It could be a phaser. So you can make different things with air dry clay to take this in different directions. This could be a thermometer, depending on how you paint it. And once I get an arm on there, a normal arm, it would be held in the hand. So you can really do a lot of this yourself without spending an awful lot of money on Star Trek Borg equipment or trying to adapt a lot of other galoob or similar sized figures or equipment. You can make a lot of it yourself. So if I'm going to end up needing a medical bed instead of a regeneration chamber, I can make it out of clay. I think I bought 2 of these. It's £5. You can look at the Crayola website, or I'll put the link. I'll find it and put the link. And so once I get these to medical, say I leave it as painted as a Borg cube for a while, because a big huge Borg cube is scary. Then I make it into a medicine cabinet. With this, I'd have to think about what that could be. An oxygen tent of some kind, or a canopy over the bed or something. Some big shape that would be kind of blurry. This could still stay the pumping thing on the table. And, you know, the clay is so cheap, you wouldn't need to necessarily keep these. I plan on keeping at least 1 Borg as original. So anything that the medical wouldn't need, the Borg can have. Crayola Air Dry Clay. This is the Borg Cube lunchbox. Now you can see here. This is a little bead container that I have duct tape on the back of, rolled up. And I've stuck it on the inside, and that's their window communicator things that they have, so that's just a start. You see the two Borg there, as if they're walking off the regeneration things. The way I'm going to set this up, I've made crocheted and knitted regeneration chambers, which are so easy to make. This is a 3-inch granny square with the beginning of a granny square, 12 double crochet in a ring for the center. On this one, I made this out of glow-in-the-dark yarn. This is going to glow green at night. And I haven't finished the blanket part of that. And this is so you can use these things for other things afterward. But both of these have duct tape holding them on the side. The blanket is size 9 needles, 16 stitches. Just knit and garter stitch for about 6 inches, 5 inches. It shrinks a little bit after you knit it. So those two are there. And what I just purchased that isn't here yet are actually the Lily figure and the Zephram Cochrane figure. And I'll tell you why. First contact was really the Borg going after Lily and Zephram Cochrane because they were going to do a warp speed test. The Enterprise comes into it. They were told to stay at the neutral zone. They didn't. Even though, you know, they needed help. The other ships needed help. 2 or 3 times, Picard broke orders. When they get to the cube where the battle is, they beam Worf off the Defiant, and other ships are getting destroyed. Then they follow the Borg cube to Earth, and they completely throw the Prime Directive out the window and interfere with everything. Supposedly for the betterment of the planet. Yes, that's what they want you to believe in the movie. What they don't do at the end when the away team beams up, they never erase the memories of their visit from Zephram, Cochrane, or Lily, or any of the people that may have seen them coming and going, or any of the people that saw the Enterprise leave. So, to me, what really happens after that now? Because that's a complete intervention with earlier Earth, which would have changed history and the timeline. Do they end up never having the Borg on Earth or not? But at the same time, that was because the Enterprise crew assumed the Borg were evil. And they saw the Borg go back, and they figured, we gotta go stop them. What if the Borg were actually imprint robots at that point? Now I know in the movie it says they took over Earth, but what if they were imprint robots? And if the Borg had met Lily and Zephram, what if they had become worker drones instead of killer drones, or assimilating people? These are really dead people in machine bodies. What if that never happened if they had been able to contact Zephram and Lily? So the reason I'm mentioning this is because in my life here, first contact was between the Borg and Zephram, Cochrane, and Lily. And the Enterprise intervened. We all love the Enterprise crew. We're all Enterprise fans. But the what if, from my imagination, starts here. And if you're writing a book or a story, you'd have to examine this anyway. All the violations of the Prime Directive, and what do they mean? So that's kind of my take on this. So this is going to be a first contact set that has 2 Borg with their regeneration chambers, Lily and Zephram Cochrane, and I can then take it from there. If one of them ends up becoming a doctor, how do we know that that isn't really AI, artificial intelligence, and that they can become doctors, instead of the holographic doctor in Voyager. So you see how there are so many questions there, but for children or adults, what if? What if they hadn't violated the Prime Directive? And just to clarify a little bit, when the Enterprise gets to earlier Earth, they do a scan and they say something like 8 million inhabitants, all Borg. One, the Queen had just arrived. So Picard assumes she's been there before, Borgerized the Earth, and there's nobody there. Then how are there human settlements everywhere intact enough to build a rocket? So there are a lot of questions in the movie, and the movie is a little bit sloppy as far as chances for the Enterprise to be completely wrong in what they do. And if you're a Trek fan, you start to think about these things like, well, wait a minute, why did that happen? What if it happened the other way? For children maybe especially, but also for adults and for writers, these are the little nooks and crannies that you don't even have to pull apart in this one, that are sitting there like open notches that you can change the story on.